So, guys, the SNS Cricket Diaries is back with another episode after a long while now. And we have a special guest today with us, Sidhant Malhotra. Hello, Sidhant. How are you?
Hi, sir. All well. Hope the same for you.
Good, good, Sidhant. Been catching up with the T20 World Cup as well. So guys, here at the SNS Cricket Diaries, we are going to preview. I mean, rather not preview the. We're going to review the T20 World Cup so far. We are now in the business end of the tournament with the Super Eights now reaching its conclusion in a few days, and then we'll have the semi-final lineup ready. So we are going to talk about a few key points from this World Cup. So. Siddhant, the first thing overall, how do you see the World Cup has panned out in terms of the performances overall of the teams?
So as we speak, I think uh, two of the biggest highlights for me, one has been definitely um the success of USA as a team.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, being host to the World Cup and playing their first ICC event on the main stage. I think the way they've played until now,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I think it's been fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
With having Pakistan, Ireland, India, Canada to
Yeah,
play. I think they've done very well for themselves to qualify for the Super Eights.
yeah, that's true.
And of course, I think the big coming to the two biggest upsets for me, one is definitely Pakistan's performance and New Zealand's performance for that matter.
Okay, I think I lost you in between. So you're talking about Pakistan and New Zealand's performance, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, and overall, if you see, Siddhant, we have had quite a few surprises. We have had USA coming into the Super 8. Even Bangladesh, to some extent, was a bit of a surprise because everyone was expecting Sri Lanka to qualify from that group, Group D, I think it was, and but Bangladesh did decently well. I would say just enough to qualify. So if you look at USA, firstly, I think that's been the story of the World Cup so far, Siddhant. The emergence of USA as a pretty strong team, defeating Pakistan, defeating Canada, and I'm pretty sure with the form that Ireland was showing, if that match had happened, probably USA would have won that game as well. So, how do you see USA's performance so far, Siddhant?
Um, I think it's they were really the underdogs. I mean, I don't think anyone was counting them in. But the way they come into this tournament with the kind of intent they've shown, I think especially with the new ball and
Yeah,
with the bat at the top of the order
yeah.
with likes of Aaron Jones and of course Netravalkar, the left arm pacer.
Yeah.
Uh, it's I think for me these two have been the game changers for USA.
Absolutely. And if you look at the host West Indies, Siddhant, West Indies, if we give a bit of a background, they couldn't qualify for the Super Eights in the last edition. I think it was Super 10 that time, probably, if I'm not wrong. And then the tournament before that in 2021, they qualified for the Super 10, the second round, but they didn't qualify for the semi-final. So, after the 2016 win, they have had two very bad World Cups. But now, even today we saw a clinical performance by them against USA after a setback against England. So West Indies is looking a pretty strong team. How do you rate West Indies' chances in this tournament going ahead?
I think very highly because of course, they have advantage. They have home advantage. Now that most of the matches are being played in the Caribbean, and with the best thing about the West Indies is that you have open grounds. So obviously, with day games, the dew doesn't play a big factor, but the wind does play a huge factor. And I think they're the best playing the best way, really.
Right, right. And how do you see the captain Rovman Powell? I think he has been able to inspire this West Indies team because if you see before the World Cup, also they have had some good wins against some good teams. They've won against South Africa in South Africa. I think it was a year ago or something like that. Then they defeated England last year in December when England came over. So I think as
Yeah.
a team, they have been, as a T20 team, they've been doing some good things outside of the World Cup.
Yeah, I think it's especially because most of their players do play in international leagues.
Yeah.
So most of them are in good nick. I think having constant playing cricket constantly throughout the year in different conditions helps a lot of players from the West Indies. I mean,
Yeah.
even if you're not representing your national side, you're playing different leagues. You have leagues all around the year. You
Yeah.
have the
Yeah.
BBL, you have the Caribbean Premier League, you have the IPL.
Yeah.
So it's very important for a team like West Indies if a minor chunk of their players are not in the national team for a certain series or a certain format,
Right.
uh, that they actually go out and play league so that they stay in nick of the game. And I think I've always rated West Indies as one of the best T20 teams over the
Hmm.
years since the time I started watching cricket or started understanding cricket for that matter. It's always the boys from the Caribbean who actually set the game on fire,
Yeah. Yeah.
be it with the bat or the ball.
Hmm.
I do know that they had a bit of a dry patch in the middle.
Mhm.
But coming back from that, I think they've recovered very well, and this World Cup is a great example of that.
I think, yeah, fair enough. Good points made there, Siddhant. And I would like to also talk about South Africa and Australia and England, their performances so far. If we look at South Africa, Siddhant, unbeaten. Yesterday also, they defeated a strong English team, defending only 163 against that powerful English batting lineup, albeit on a slightly tricky surface, but the surface was not too bad. It was not really as if it was the pitch was the ball was gripping on the pitch, so it wasn't truly a sort of a bowler-friendly pitch. And on that wicket to defend 168 was a fantastic performance by the team.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, I don't think it was that tricky a pitch. I saw the ball was coming on pretty decently on the bat. So uh, I think with South Africa, of course, who was there? The leading wicket taker, I think. Rabada took two
Harder.
crucial wickets.
Yeah, yeah,
I think he was on a bit of a high side with eight, maybe not. But two crucial wickets there,
yeah.
taken by Rabada.
I think getting Phil Salt out was extremely important because he was in
Was extremely important
wonderful
because
touch.
we've seen in the IPL, if he gets a good start, he can take the game away in a matter of overs.
True, true, true. Yeah, I think, and of course, Liam Livingston, sorry, and I think it was Harry Brook.
Harry Brook with a 53 of 37.
Both of them staged a fantastic fight back after they were 61 for 4 in the 11th over. So,
Yes,
uh,
of course. I really think that England missed a trick by sending Harry Brook down the order.
Mhm.
I think Harry Brook would have been much better coming in at number 3 or number 4, because sometimes if you've lost early wickets, you need someone to come in, stabilize the innings. And we know Bairstow, although he has a lot of experience, but he is an explosive batsman at the end of the day.
Mhm.
Um, his power lies in six hitting, and I think if Bairstow had come down the order where Harry Brook originally played,
Mhm.
I think that would have been a good trick,
Mhm.
uh, which England probably missed.
Yeah, that's true. Looking at South Africa, Siddhant, the way they have been performing, all they are the only team, I think, apart from India, who have won each and every game. And
Yes,
uh,
yes.
you look at the top order, Quinton de Kock and Reza Hendricks, they are performing well. What do you have to say about Quinton de Kock, Siddhant? I think he's definitely someone who is really stepping up to the plate in terms of what the team needs from him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's shown this over the years in various tournaments, and of course he has a good mix of uh, boundary hitting and running between the wickets. So he does give importance to both the manners in which the runs are scored. So yeah, I think top of the order, he is the king for South Africa.
Yeah,
If he gets a
and
good start, and they're definitely with David Miller coming down, scoring a good 43 of 28 balls with strike rate of 153, I think was very good.
yeah, and I think if you look at Australia now, they're just sort of slipping under the radar. They're doing what Australia usually does, winning games of cricket. And if you look at, I mean, of course, Australia also has won each and every game that they have played. So I think correction on that, not just South Africa and India, but Australia as well. And if you look at their batting, I think Travis Head and David Warner are sort of clicking pretty well. The middle order is a bit of a
I think
concern.
being left-handers batting together at the top, I did hear someone say when they played their game against Bangladesh that they did take very good advantage of the wind
Mhm.
in the West Indies.
Mhm.
I think uh, being left-handers, they did get the advantage to hit with the wind on that particular day.
Right.
Um, and a common shot seen between both Head and Warner is the slog sweep. I think they played very well.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, they they scored 100 for 2 in 11 overs against Bangladesh, and Warner with 3 and Travis Head with 2 sixes.
Mhm.
So 5 sixes among them between both of them.
Yeah, yeah, I
Um,
think great. And I think the middle order, I think still yet to fire. And I think come the stronger teams like
yeah,
India.
they haven't really gotten exposed the middle order of Australia.
Yeah.
It'll
Of
be
course,
interesting
I
to
think
see.
Marcus Stoinis in one of the games, I think played a crucial knock against. I think it was either one of the minnows because they were struggling in the very opening game, I think. But apart from that, I think they've not had much to do, and yeah, I think they are pretty much on track to win another world title. What do you say?
Uh, uh, I guess they are favorites. Going into the semifinals, they are. I think I see uh Australia, South Africa definitely qualifying.
Yeah.
Um, India, and we're yet to see. I'm not really sure. I don't want to put a name on who the fourth can be.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about India also, but before that, Pakistan's performance, Sidhant, a huge upset in the tournament when USA defeated Pakistan, and then Pakistan eventually were out of the tournament. What is your first take on Pakistan's performance in this World Cup?
Oh, huge upset, massive upset. I think just the brand of cricket they've played has been under par. They lacked intent. Uh, they lacked the process they were following. I never saw when you know that you're here to play. I think the defeat against USA uh got them with such shock that they just put their guard down.
Hmm.
Um, very under par performance by that team.
Uh,
And I think the change in captaincy, the constant chopping and changing in captaincy, uh Babar to Shaheen to Babar again. Uh just there I have a lot to say for that team, and
please go ahead. Please go ahead. Yeah.
I think starting from the USA game, uh Babar Azam did was the highest scorer with a 43.
Mhm.
Um then after that, the only person who reached the 40s was Shadab Khan.
Yeah.
But just they were just not there.
They're
They've
just
just not been there. They've just not been there the whole tournament.
true, true. And if you
Uh,
look at, yeah.
coming to that bowling, I think again the USA match. I think that was the real pinnacle of this tournament for them. Uh, we did know that they might fumble, but they'll fumble so badly, if I may add, was because once you're in the super over with a quality bowler like Mohammad Amir, left arm quick, he's been asked to come out of retirement and play for the national team. So I'm sure the Pakistan cricket board must have put a lot of thought in there to get such an experienced bowler out of retirement and come back. But I think the way he bowled was just, he was so under pressure, wide after wide, giving 18 runs as a left arm quick, being a premier bowler for a team. I think I knew from the time when they crossed the 12-run mark that this game is going towards the USA, is leaning towards the USA.
Yeah, I think,
just the way Saurav Netrawalkar played, bowled in the first innings.
yeah,
I think their captain was definitely going to go back to him for the super over, and he did bowl I think 2 wides, but it's just that the calmness and the composure he had under pressure. Because of course you bowl 1 wide in a super over, and of course the pressure is bound to come onto you, but you have to stay calm in those times.
If you look at Babar, Azam, and Rizwan, I think a similar problem is there in the Indian batting also. There's this a certain sense of rigidity, Sidhant. That they, no matter what the situation, they'll just play according to a certain way, and they don't play according to the situation, according to the pitch, and just take ages. And I mean, even if you look at the 2 wins against Canada and Ireland in the last 2 matches, it was such a torture. I'm sure it must have been a great torture for the Pakistan fans to watch them play the way they did, especially against Ireland. I mean, they lost 7 wickets chasing just about 100 odd. I know the pitches in USA have been very tough. In fact, the record for defending the lowest score total in T20s has been broken 3 times in this tournament, thanks to US conditions. So we'll come to the. But do you think that there's now going ahead, there has to be a change in terms of the opening combination for Pakistan in T20 cricket?
Definitely. I think what Pakistan lacks is whatever the conditions in a T20 format, you want to capitalize on the power play, especially when you're setting a score. Whatever the conditions are, you see a few balls through, and then you do find a way to score runs. But just the fact that you don't want to take a risk, because you yourself are scared that you will expose a middle order, which probably does have experience, but you possibly do not have faith in your own middle order. I think that's what I saw when Pakistan were playing. With Babar and Rizwan playing in a certain way, because they're scared that they might get dismissed, and they don't. It was like they just don't want to expose their middle order.
Quite true. I think the bowling really stood up for Pakistan in each and every game. I think the pinnacle of their bowling performance was against India, to dismiss a strong batting lineup for just about
119.
Was a tremendous effort, but yeah, they just fluffed it up with the bat. So yeah, a lot of thinking for Pakistan, a lot of chatter and noise amongst the senior, the former players and the YouTubers in Pakistan that I see. There's just so much of nonsense out there. Very few YouTubers in Pakistan are there who are really sort of giving some constructive feedback on their team. Otherwise, it's just a lot of hullabaloo and not much of substance. So I just hope that for world cricket, Pakistan does take something out of this, and actually the system shakes a bit, because I think just have been in this mire for so long.
I think the fact that Pakistan has managed to qualify for the 2026 World Cup just about with their rankings says a lot, because the moment you have the question that you might not qualify for a tournament based on your current performance, I think that itself should be a huge jolt, not only to the team but also the senior management of any nation. But yeah, I think I really wanted Pakistan not to qualify based on their rankings, just because when you don't stand up to expectations,
Yeah.
and you perform like the way they have. I think it's really important for teams to really have a reality check in and play teams that you never expect to. I mean, being a test nation, they've always been a very good team, and in every format, I think they've had legends as well. It's not that uh, no one takes them for granted.
True. I think,
So
just as we speak, India has lost Virat Kohli, but they are going pretty well.
yeah,
Looking at India's performance, Siddhant, now focusing on India, I think the group stage was probably about doing just the right things at the right time, doing just about enough to beat their opponents, including the one against Pakistan. I think the win against Pakistan was quite a miracle. In spite of the fact that Pakistan batting was so weak and we had Jasprit Bumrah and others, I still think it was a miracle to defend 119. But in the other matches that we've seen, I think against Afghanistan, we saw a much improved batting performance. There are a lot of rumors, I mean, not rumor, but a lot of chat about the opening combination. Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma haven't fired. Today, I think, as we speak against Bangladesh, they did put on a partnership of about 35 runs, which I think is their best in both in terms of runs as well as in terms of the run rate.
yeah.
Um, uh, but how do you see? Do you see that in the upcoming matches? Will there be a? Is there a need for Yashasvi Jaiswal to come in, or do you think we should continue with this combination?
I personally don't think we should change because having Rohit and Virat open the innings with Pant coming at 3, uh, probably hasn't worked to its best. But I think it sets the right tone because both Rohit and Virat can play at their pace, start the innings at their pace, knowing the fact that you have a Rishabh Pant who plays in the most explosive manner. And I think the last match proved it, the way he was hitting the ball to all parts of the ground. And again, with Surya Kumar Yadav now who's come into form, just hit a 6 and gotten out the Tanzan.
Yeah,
Well, yes. So I think we're going pretty well.
yeah. Okay.
Now, at this stage, coming into the business end of the tournament, I don't think Yashasvi Jaiswal can make it or should make it, because if we had to go with that approach, we should have started in the first game itself.
Okay. How about the middle order? How do you think that's shaping up? I think Hardik Pandya has performed notably well. There's a lot of question mark now on Shivam Dubey after a series of failures. He's just had that one important knock. I think I say important because it was important against USA, that 35 odd runs that he made and was not out.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about the Indian middle order? Do you think that the players are we do have the players to really challenge the bowlers in the middle overs?
I in my opinion, I don't see a day where our top 4, even like Rohit, Virat, Rishabh Pant, and Surya Kumar Yadav, even if all of them, God forbid, go down for a low score, I think Hardik Pandya, Jadeja, and Akshar Patel to come. I think there is a sense of maturity now that they've played for India for so long to really hold that innings and take us to a respectable total. The only inexperience in our batting lineup at the minute is Shivam Dubey. I don't see we have seen, let's be honest, we've seen what he can do to the spinners in the IPL, and of course I am taking the example of the IPL where we have flat tracks and these wickets are significantly different. But I think we should back him. We should back him because the power he holds to hit the spinners, he can be a game changer.
Well, as we speak, he is batting right now. So let's see if we are a lucky charm for him. Looking at Siddhant, I want you to focus a bit on Jadeja because Ravindra Jadeja now for a a long time, I think, has underperformed with the bat. I don't know. I mean, I'm just going to say my opinion here that I mean, he's a gun fielder. He's a pretty okay white ball bowler, not necessarily penetrating, but I think it does just about does the job every time. But as a batter coming in at some number 6 or 7, where we need power hitting, he just doesn't perform that role to expectations. And there is a lot of talk about his performances with the bat in T20 cricket since a long time now. So you talk about maturity, yes, number of years of experience he has, but then when will he start delivering consistently for the Indian team?
I think at that the number he comes in bats, I think people do uh miscount it for just for slogging the ball and giving a good finish to an innings. But in my opinion, we have a Hardik Pandya, Ravindra Jadeja, and Akshar Patel batting one below the other, and I think out of that, Ravindra Jadeja is probably the most experienced out of the three of them who can actually consolidate the innings. So having a Hardik Pandya who does bank on six hittings and boundary hitting, and Akshar Patel who is the same kind of players, I don't mind a Ravindra Jadeja in the middle who can probably anchor the innings with one of them going hard on the ball.
Okay, fair enough. Let's see how that pans out. Our bowling is looking in good strength. Do you see going ahead, Sidhant? We'll stick with the three spinner policy, or is there room for Siraj to come in at some point of time, be it against Australia or maybe in the knockouts?
I see three spinners playing through the tournament. Not sure if they'd want to change a Kuldeep for a Chahal just to get some variety and some very different kind of variations in. Possibly against Australia, because we've seen Chahal has a lot of has got a lot of success in the past against Australia. But I do see I don't see any significant change coming into the bowling lineup. I think they have performed very well with the Bumrah and the form he is. We don't really need to look past him at the minute. It seems that way.
Okay. So as we come to the end of this podcast, I would like you to air your opinions on the conditions in the World Cup, especially in USA. The whole idea of bringing the World Cup to US was I think, a very broad idea in terms of the vision. But do you think that the ICC has done well to stage and the kind of criticism that they've been facing about pitches, about conditions, the rain that has fallen so much in Florida, a lot of the matches they're being washed out. What is your take on the overall management of cricket in US?
So starting with the weather, I think the weather needs to be put out of contention. And if we are we've gone to England, we've had the same issues. We've gone to Ireland, had the same issues. We've, of course, in the US, we have had similar issues. But the fact that the ICC has managed to hold such an event in that part of the world, I'm not going to first talk about the success. So I think it has been a success in the eyes of globalizing the game. I see it. In my opinion, there has been success. Probably the conditions have not been favorable, but there's been a significant change coming in from the IPL. We've seen the highest of high scores being scored, and then coming and seeing real cricket, where a 120 has to be defended, low scores have to be chased, and conditions have been difficult. I think a lot of people have criticized the pitches and the conditions, but we've seen some great cricket.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in terms of globalization of the game, I'm all for it. It's just that I feel that usually the cricketing season in West Indies used to be before the IPL came. It used to be March and April. But ever since the IPL has come in, West Indies cricket has been forced to schedule its home season in the months of June, July, and even sometimes August. So, and those are the rainy months in the West Indies. So I think that there's very little that ICC could do with the IPL being having its own window now, and there's nothing bigger than the IPL. I think even World Cup cricket. I mean, in terms of market, although for me, international cricket will always take precedence over club cricket. But
Yeah, I think when it comes to franchise cricket, IPL is definitely the biggest cricket league, and I don't see the BCCI being able to change that window.
yeah,
I guess it is West Indies cricket who have to bear the brunt of it.
yeah, that's true. That's the sad part. But anyway, I think Siddhant, we've covered a lot of points in this podcast. And I hope that I'll get you soon again, maybe post the World Cup to review, hopefully with India winning it. But
Let's see.
your two choices for the finalists, Siddhant. I'm putting you on the spot. Please give me the two finalists.
India, South Africa.
Okay, that's a pretty bold call because I think that the common perception, the popular perception has been India, Australia. But let's see, I would love.
I'm I'm also going with the bias that I do not want to. I don't want India to face Australia, in the final. But regardless, I think the way South Africa is playing their cricket,
Yeah.
I think I would at the minute rate them a notch higher than Australia. Not to disregard Australia putting in their bold performances, but I think South Africa is just a notch better.
Well, I mean, if India were not to win, I would really be happy for South Africa if they won because I think for years they have experienced some tragic events on the field with the kind of losses they've had in the knockouts. So yeah, I think on that note, we will end this podcast. Thank you so much, Sidhant, for being here, and I hope my listeners have been able to enjoy the conversation of today and take back something for later. So thank you so much, Sidhant, and hope to see you again.
Thank you so much, sir. It's been a pleasure, and hope to do much more in the near future.
Absolutely, absolutely. Take care and see you next time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.